This Kinder Egg could choke you, these Haribos could give you explosive diarrhea, and these Starburst candies could make your cells mutate. And in this video, we're going to be working our way up to the most dangerous candies that can kill you. Let's get started with M&Ms. These multicolored button-shaped chocolates with candy shells are nothing short of a delight. They can be hard to resist. However, one man couldn't help but resisting them, and he almost died due to this. Liam Gallagher was on vacation when he suddenly found himself hungry for some M&Ms. Well, all it took was a little bite from a blue-colored one to send him to the hospital. Turns out he had a peanut allergy and could have died if he hadn't gotten urgent medical attention. Let's move on to some candies that kids snorted. Smarties are colorful and popular sugar-coated treats that have been in existence since 1937. They are gluten and peanut-free and might seem like a much more healthy choice when compared to other candies. However, people have invented new ways of consuming this candy. There have been reports of children who crushed the candy into powder and then puffed it like a cigarette. In other cases, the powder is snorted like cocaine. Warnings of infections, asthma, and even infestation of maggots have made this trend less appealing to those indulging in it. How about some acidic candy? Imagine feasting on your favorite candy and the next thing you see is a hole in your tongue. Well, that was the case with 7-year-old Lachlan Cannick, who thought he could indulge in his favorite candy before breakfast without his mother getting to find out. Well, he was disappointed. The candy he ate burnt a not-so-good-looking hole on his tongue, and he had no choice but to run to his mother in pain. The particular candy he had eaten was called Warhead's Junior Extreme Sour, which is known to contain malic acid. In the end, Lachlan got well, but he had to eat blended food for a while. If that was extreme, what do you think about this cell-altering candy? Starburst is a box-shaped fruit-flavored candy that originated from the United Kingdom and was introduced in the 1960s. Many people even seem to agree that its pink-colored variety is the best out there. However, you need to understand that the ingredients that come together to make up this sweet treat pose some serious health challenges. Apart from the corn syrup, hydrogenated palm kernel oil, and sugar you're consuming, you're also taking in minute quantities of titanium dioxide, which has been known to cause cell mutations and damage to DNA. Severe reaction to Skittles. This multicolored fruit-flavored candy is something we can mindlessly munch on while performing one task or another. Back in 2014, 2 candy lovers ate from a bag of Skittles, which was purchased from a food mart. They ended up going to the hospital complaining of burning throat, cramping, and diarrhea. At first, health officials believed that the candies had been contaminated with some kind of chemicals. However, lab analysis showed that no toxins were present in the candies. The candy lovers were released after treatment, but I'm not sure Skittles would continue being on their grocery list. For a kid, what's a successful parade without munching on some candies? It makes the whole parade experience even more fun. Well, it was not fun for some parade goers back in 2018 when they began feeling discomfort after eating Tootsie Rolls. The symptoms they experienced included numbness of the tongue and cheek as well as redness. The good news was that the symptoms lasted only for a few hours. After this, the kids were made to throw away the bad candies. A love for black licorice turns deadly. In 2020, a construction worker would meet his end due to his love for a particular type of candy known popularly as black licorice. The thing was that the man was fond of eating a bag and a half of the candy every day. He continued this unhealthy habit for several weeks until one day his heart gave out and he collapsed while eating lunch. One thing he wasn't aware of was that black licorice contains glyceric acid, and this substance has been known to increase blood pressure. Maybe if he knew this fact, he would have been more cautious when approaching the candy. Sweet tarts with a twist. Imagine a candy that looks and tastes like sweet tarts, but in actual sense isn't what you think it is. That's exactly what Zanny tarts are. Simply put, Zanny tarts are sweet tarts that have been modified. Modified how? Well, Zanny tarts are made by lacing sweet tarts with Xanax, which is a drug that's used to treat anxiety disorder. So it's hard to tell the difference between a regular sweet tart and a Zanny tarts. Therefore, an unsuspecting person might gobble up the drug-laced candies and overdose on them. This can lead to several health challenges. Who knew Pop Rocks could be used for this? Pop Rocks are a delight. The popping reaction and tingling that occurs in your mouth when you eat them is a feeling that's worthwhile. Well, a Californian woman by the name of Cassie Milton found a bizarre way of using the exploding candy. She and her boyfriend assumed that inserting the candy into her genitals while having sex would increase her pleasure. That was exactly what she did. But instead of pleasure, all she felt was an unbearable burning and itching sensation. Due to this, she had to be rushed to the hospital, where she had an embarrassing time explaining to the healthcare workers what had happened. Reese's peanut butter cups and a bit of TBHQ. This American candy, which consists of a chocolate cup filled filled with peanut butter has been in existence since the 1920s. The candy has no doubt come a long way and holds a top spot on the list of best-selling candy brands. Reese's peanut butter cups are delicious, but does that make them safe for consumption? Well, the answer is no. The additives contained within the candy are of concern. One of these is a compound called TBHQ, a petroleum derivative that's used to prevent fat oxidation. In simpler terms, it helps prevent the candy from spoiling. People who have consumed a high concentration of this compound have been reported to come down with nausea, vomiting, shortness of breath, and a host of other health complications. Let's check out this gum chewing addiction that got out of hand. Samantha Jenkins was a bubbly teenager with an excessive chewing gum habit. This would be her undoing. One day she complained of a stomach upset and soon went into a fit. She later passed away at the hospital. Her cause of death was a result of an imbalance of minerals in her body, which led to a shortage of oxygen to her brain. An autopsy revealed lumps of chewing gum in her stomach, and this is believed to have played a role in preventing the absorption of those important minerals. Konjac jelly candy. These gel candies look sweet and innocent and are a favorite amongst kids. However, don't be deceived. The candies are considered to be one of the world's most lethal choking hazards. Over the years, this candy has been linked to the deaths of several children around the world, and several more have sustained injuries in one choking incident or the other. One such lethal case was that of a young girl by the name of Michelle Enriel. She choked on the candy when she was only 8 and had to remain in a coma for more than 2 years until her death in 2001. Haribo sugar-free gummy bears and explosive diarrhea. These gummy bears were so popular when they were first released a few years back. It was not only because of how they tasted, but due to the fact that a lot of people got very uncomfortable after eating them. You see, the company that made this gummy bear had found what they thought was the perfect replacement for sugar. This compound called lycocin, and it tasted almost as sweet as sugar. This was a good idea due to the health hazards sugar poses. However, the problem was that the sugar, alcohol, and lycocin cannot be fully digestible by humans. Therefore, when people ate the gummy bears, it gave them intense cramps and diarrhea. Tamarind lollipop. This Mexican-made lollipop was a hit amongst kids back then. However, there was something awfully wrong with it. It wasn't because of its dark brown color or its tamarind flavor. It was because it was contaminated with lead. As we know, short-term or long-term exposure can lead to have devastating effects on the body. Well, tamarind lollipop has since been banned after a 2-year-old and several other children who had consumed the candy were discovered to have very high levels of lead in their blood. Sour Patch Kids. If you've ever tasted Sour Patch Kids, you would know that it's a candy that manages to strike a balance between sweet and sour. Eating just 1 or 2 is not enough to satisfy that craving for the sweet treat. However, what you probably don't know is that it's a mix of artificial colorings and a whole lot of ingredients that aren't exactly healthy. In particular, it contains high fructose corn syrup, and this has been linked to obesity, diabetes, and a host of other health challenges. Kinder Surprise. Back in 2016, disaster struck in the French city of Toulouse when a 3-year-old girl swallowed a Kinder Egg toy. You see, the candy manufacturer was in the habit of including collectible toys with their candy. You can imagine the joy on the faces of little kids when they unveil these toys. However, that 3-year-old mistook the toy for candy and swallowed it. This got trapped in her throat, and even though her grandfather was able to quickly remove it, it was a little too late. She had stopped breathing and suffered brain damage due to lack of oxygen. Using candies inappropriately. Originally called Lick-M-Aid, Fun Dip is a flavored and colored powdered candy that's packaged in packets containing 1 powder along with a white candy stick. It has over the years grown in popularity among people of all ages, but Fun Dip is not a healthy option for a snack. This is because it's almost 100% sugar. Apart from this extreme sugar content, there have over the years been reports of kids snorting the candy as if it were drugs. This inappropriate behavior comes with a whole lot of health risk, which includes infection of the nose and lungs. Toxic Waste Chew Bar. Toxic Waste Chew Bar originates from Pakistan, and let's be honest, it's a candy that lives up to its name. After an investigation by the California Department of Public Health, it was discovered that the candy contained more than twice the accepted lead level. Yeah, you heard that right. This was a red flag since its elevated lead content could pose a risk to people. This discovery prompted the company making the candy to recall them from store shelves, and it was eventually discontinued. Thankfully, at the time, no one had gotten sick from consuming the candy. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and make sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.